Looking over here, what we have is an ACT science question. Now, looking at this, there is a lot of text to go through. And typically with these passages, there are multiple questions to work with. However, for our purposes, we'll only go through one of them. And when we work through this question, we're going to have to narrow down all the information that we have in front of us. So the way to do this, we're going to cut to smaller pieces of this larger drawing. So we'll start with the question, as we always should. So, going over all of this information here, basically what we have is a style of question where a statement will be given and we have to say whether or not it can be supported based on the results given in one of the studies here. So, rather than going through everything that's here, we're going to underline the key information. Supported by is the most important information, as is study 2, as this will help narrow our search. Next, we're going to underline the values of chlorine, which is going to be important for us to refer to when we handle study 2, as is the time period, the winter and early spring, and also the keyword greater. So in this case, you don't even need to know the signs. If you look at a graph, can you see where the line is higher? If so, then you know how to handle this kind of question. And as you can see here, I'm circling the 4 answer choices, 2 yeses and 2 nos. So we can confirm that it's greater than, we can already eliminate 2 of the answers. So let's go over to the actual study itself and go over those details. Now we're going to have to go back and forth between what we have in the study and what we have in the actual question. So here we have over here, we're just going to go through the information once again and make sure we match it. So let's start by underlining the concentration of chlorine, as this will be what we need to know for the sake of the question. And for the sake of understanding that since this is a figure, we'll have to make sure that we confirm the greater during the winter and early spring piece of information. And you can see down at the figure 3 label that it is labeled in terms of months. So we can work through this now in terms of those specific months, which would be December, January, February, March. So the other thing we have to understand is that table that no longer matters anymore, because now we can just concentrate on what the question wants, which is the information regarding chlorine. And notice that peak that happens right around December. Also notice the way the lines are much higher in January, February, and March. So that confirms the statement that was given to us in the question, which is regarding whether or not it is greater during the winter and spring. Let's look over the answer choices once again. Since we have confirmed the statement given, we can eliminate C and D. So going through A and B, we have to look for consistency. So A, in this case, talks about how, yes, because the chlorine wet deposition values were on average greater from November to April, which is what we want. B, meanwhile, talks about less than, which contrasts what we have in the original statement. So A has to be the right answer.